Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this mediated version of the Division of Revenue Bill. And allow me to begin by thanking the members of the Mediation Committee, led by the two co-chairs, Chair Sam Atandi and Chair Governor Senator Roba, the Senator for Mandera County. And I want to thank them for their leadership during that very difficult mediation process. And that's why I want to agree with the second of this motion and probably urge that we ignore some of these noisemakers, because there are people who speak faster than their brains function. And I don't know if they even engage their brain before they speak. And that senator who was speaking that way is just looking at an opportunity to vilify other leaders in ODM because of his own shortcomings, not because of his commitment to devolution. It is not even because of his understanding of issues that touch on the finances of our country. But Governor and Senator Roba, former governor for Mandera, and an accomplished professional, together with Sam Atandi, who is an accomplished banker and a finance person, understand where we are as a country. Honorable Speaker, when we said here as we moved the estimates for the next financial year, and even as we did this division of revenue initially to give the figure of 420 billion, we said it was based or anchored on the current circumstances of where our economy is and the likely scenarios of what is going to happen. And I said it yesterday, Honorable Speaker, that if you look at the global economy, the way things are with the war in the Middle East, we must exercise what in financial accounting we call the principle of prudence in financial management. And prudence means that as you plan, because what you are doing now is planning. We don't have this money. We are planning. Budgeting is about planning. As you plan, you must exercise financial prudence and be cognizant of the issues that pertain in the world, that we are unlikely to achieve the revenue targets that we are planning for if the situation as it is persists, and we pray and hope for the best that that war will come to an end. Honorable Speaker, I say this because painstakingly, this mediation committee members had very long meetings. Those of you who are here know Sam Atandi was not seen in this house yesterday, the whole day. He was in meetings from morning up to the time I was leaving here at about 7 p.m. That's the time they were finishing the meeting. And that's when he briefed me and told me that they had agreed on the figure of 428 in consultation with the National Treasury, as any responsible group of leaders would do. And now we can guarantee our county governments that they will have 428 billion shillings as shareable revenue. And that is not all, because they also have other monies in the additional allocations, which we have. Top among them, the guarantee that we have now that 8.6 billion shillings will be going to our universal health care workers. Workers who are doing a splendid job right in our villages, in dispensaries, and even some, the CHPs, visiting patients in their homes. Honorable Speaker, the only way to guarantee that that work, good work continues is supporting devolution. And therefore, those who say that Sam Atandi, because as chair, Sam Atandi does not work alone. He does not work alone, and he's not doing this alone. CS John Mbadi doesn't work alone in the National Treasury. He has made decisions in consultation with everybody that he works with in Treasury, professionals who have weighed the situation. I have sat with Sam Atandi and members of the Budget Committee for hours. This last weekend, there is no other work we did other than think through this process of division of revenue and even try to weigh where can we raise more money. What else can we cut to be able to get more money for our county governments? And the fact that we're able to get this additional 8 billion shillings is good for the country, is good for our county governments. And therefore, those who are saying that, oh, people don't support devolution, I don't know who is a letdown to the spirit of devolution. The greatest betrayer of the spirit of devolution is that person who uses an institution where you sit to extort governors. Because if you're extorting governors, those governors have nowhere to get money. Those governors must go and steal from their counties to be able to bring you money where you're extorting them in those committees. Honorable Speaker, you know these are things that are in the public domain. Governors named Senator Sifuna as among the top extortionists in the Senate. You saw him trying to box the governor for Samburu because I think he had run away out of the Senate and refused to attend a committee where he wanted to go and extort. We must not allow some of these vilified characters to destroy the name of the institution of the Senate. Our Senate has very serious senators. And that is why I must commend governors who named the 4 senators they named as a chief extortionist. Top among those was Senator Sifuna. So he has no more authority to speak about John Buddy, a great professional. FCPA John Buddy, or a banker and an expert like Sam Atandi. Because they are doing their work and doing it well. And Sam Atandi, I want to tell you together with CS Mbadi, do your work without fear or favor. What you have done is good for governors, is good for devolution. You have ensured, unlike what we were discussing last week, because the options we had was to introduce a clause into this mediated version that if we have a shortfall in revenues in the next financial year, then we share that shortfall in revenues on pro rata basis. That would mean if you have a shortfall of 100 billion shillings, for instance, counties on pro rata basis would take a cut. Now counties have an assurance that irrespective of what happens, they will not have a reduction in their shareable revenue. They will not have a reduction in their additional county allocations. What better deal could there be? And I must thank the leadership in the Senate, because they know the people to put in mediation are not senators like Senator Sifuna. Because they will take the extortion also to the mediated mediation committees. I must thank my counterpart, leader Senator Aaron Cheruyot, and the leader of minority, leader Madzayo, because they also know what kind of senators they can send to serious business. These other people, they can be sent to funerals, to rallies, to stand on top of cars with flags. They can do that they are allowed. But I told them the other day, you know, some of these things are just quick fires. Quick fires that burn very quickly for a short time, then get diminished with time, because Kenyans can see through you. Kenyans know when you are an extortionist, when you speak loudest against corruption, yet you are the chief extortionist in the Senate. When you speak loudest about accountability and transparency, yet you cannot show the people of Nairobi anything you have done for the time you have served them as a leader or as a senator, or anything that you have pushed for in your life as a leader. Let me say, shame on them if they will use the floor of Senate to vilify a member of this House. We will equally use the floor of this Parliament to tell the world who they are. And that is why I took liberty also to tell the world who that disgraced senator for Nairobi is. He's an extortionist by excellence. Honorable Speaker, forgive me for getting there. But this mediated version is the best that we could. In fact, the day before yesterday, we were at 425. We have had to take cuts in areas that will be painful to other people, but all in the support for devolution. I know in the 10-point agenda, Honorable Speaker, we committed to moving the shareable revenue to 450 billion, and we shall get there. Let me say we shall get there. We shall get there. The temporary setbacks that we have today because of the issues that are there globally, will not persist for long. And that's why I said we continue to pray for peace. We pray that the situation will improve. And I foresee in the near future the 454 billion that the Senate had desired. And I know the Council of Governors, because we've also extensively engaged with the Council of Governors on this subject. We will get to a point where we will even get above this 454 billion. All we need is to grow our economy. And as we grow our economy, we must be very prudent in how we apply the resources that we have available for us now and in the future, Honorable Speaker. And that is why I want to urge the House that we support this mediated version. Tomorrow, we are due to listen to the revenue-raising measure statement from CS John Buddy. And I know even in the difficult situation that he sits in, he's preparing. And I know because, Honorable Speaker, we need to prepare this chamber for that work tomorrow. Let me end there so that we give a few more people an opportunity to speak to this mediated version. But I want to urge you, let us all support this mediated version. And as our colleagues in the Senate have done, the well-meaning senators understand, and they have supported this mediated version. And our good governors support it because they're also aware of the situation as it is, Honorable Speaker, because any further reductions would have meant we eat into our money for education or our money for universal health coverage under the primary health care fund. And all these monies are going to serve the people that we serve as members of parliament, the same people who are served by the senators and governors as the people of Kenya, the people who have sent us to represent them here. I support.
The Honorable Millie, you are on record. Do you want to speak on to this?
Yes, yes.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.